Hello there, fellow summoners. MadDogHT here, and we are doing another Act 7.2 video. We are in 7.2.4. Now, when I was recording a bunch of these paths, I had it with sound recording, doing a voiceover, but I think I accidentally turned that off. So we're just going to go through this path. This path was not terrible. I was able to clear the whole path without getting anyone knocked out, which is always good. Gives you options at the end to swap somebody in specifically as like a backup or the main person for the boss. So this has Mercy, which I really do not like the node Mercy, because you have to do all like the dexing around. I feel like you just like have to dance, and then you get your parry, and then you got a window to do damage. And then you get the Mutagenic acceleration, so it doesn't do anything too crazy except give you mutants more offensive combat power rate, and then you get special attack damage boost for techs based on their armor. So you got that, and then you have Bubble Shield, which, you know, this one is not terrible. It's just you got to remember every 10 blocks that you do, the after you block that 10th, 20th, 30th hit, the next attack will be fully unblockable by the attacker. So as long as you keep that in mind, it's not that bad. So I went in with Guillotine 2099 on this first matchup, and you know, I was at first kind of just like dancing around trying to get those dexes. And so right here you're building up those mercy passives, and then once you parry, basically you get full damage. Otherwise you get fairly minimal damage. It's like, I think it was 90%. So it's really, I don't know. I just feel like I get the idea that they're trying to do, but I feel like the amount of dancing that you have to do is the window of opportunity that you build up is just too small. It makes these fights super annoying. But after I did this, I built up. I've got 14, 15 of those mercy passives. Okay, now I blocked, but it's not just block. You have to parry. You have to parry to get damage. So I think I build up to where I'm going to throw my special. No, I was going to throw my special too. Okay, so there we do parry. We got 4 bubble shields on us. And you can see those mercy passes, they're just slowly, not slowly, actually quickly wearing off. So, okay, so we're just about done with the cycle. I'm trying to stick to her L1s because I feel like those are the easiest to deal with without having to have a projectile. But there you go. So I did 17%, which, you know, that whole window included the time that I had to build up those mercy charges. So it's, I don't know, and maybe I'm playing this all wrong, but what I found out was Guillotine 2099, her energy damage bypasses the mercy passive. So when you get to 100 combo, you're doing great damage. So as long as you know, the first fight's going to be a little bit slow because you got to build up to the 100 combo. But then after that, once you get to 100, don't lose your combo. Throw on some of those combo shields. Make sure you don't lose your combo. And just let the energy damage do the work and just totally ignore the node. You know, some other champs that probably could do this is like Guardian. Guardian, he has a bunch of energy damage. And you know, champs that have that where their damage isn't tied to their attack is where you'd want to possibly lean towards. I'm trying to think of others. I can't at the moment, but maybe you do. Maybe you have an idea. Put it in the comments below. I'm sure. I know I would like to hear from it, because if I see this note again, and you know, guillotine is not an option, then I'd like to know. So you can see, okay, we got to 100 combo, and now you can look. So the energy damage, it started out like 300, now it's like 429. And it's going to go, or those were the degens. So now it's like 400. So every hit, the energy damage is getting increased. And we're already at like 600, 700. So, and I don't have any of that mercy stuff going on. Now I do. So now my regular hits are having normal damage, but you just don't need to. So we almost got this fight locked down. I think it's gonna be around 150 hits or so. But I'm gonna end with an L3 when she's at 5% or less to guarantee the kill, because you don't want to throw a special 3 with like 7, 8, 9% and not kill her. That would be a big waste of all of the buildup. You see she's at 5%, and do one last tap, go in, get the perfect damage for the perfect L3 kill, boom, and she's dead. So that fight, a little bit long, but just check out what we do in these next fights. Granted, I think just damage over time stuff is not impacted by the Mercy passive. So the next one, I don't use Guillotine because Thor Ragnarok, you got to throw specials with him. Otherwise, he'll most likely get to L3. I mean, I know you can get around it and not have him not get to L3 if you manage his power bar really, really well and the 20 combo, but something that I don't really want to deal with. So for this one, I was like, I wonder if I could just get a really, really big crit bleed from her L3, and if that would be enough to kill this guy. So, but you're like, well, to get to L3, you most likely can't throw specials. But with Domino, everybody knows Domino sucks with her crit failure ability, and she can make abilities, not happen. She can prevent them. So right there, we get to 20 combo, and Thor Ragnarok triggers his power gain like normal. And we're just fighting this guy like we would, we are dexing. We haven't parried yet. And you're going to see right here, I hit the 20 combo, and he doesn't trigger the power gain. So that power gain ability was crit failed. Didn't happen. So I was like, if that keeps happening, I can get to L3 and probably get off a huge bleed. So here we're baiting a special, and we're going to hit him over. He does trigger his power gain, so we're going to stop it with an L2. Look at that bleed though, 5k bleed, and I don't have mercy passives going. So I think maybe any dot damage that a champ would normally do bypasses the mercy node. So just keep that in mind. Something to try out with some other champs. It also could just be Domino being Domino. But here I'm going to hit into his block, push him over his L1, and then have him throw his L1. And then I'm going to hit to 20. It triggers the power gain. I'm going to shut it off. Okay. We're going to keep trying. And I'm building up those mercy passives. I'm trying not to block. That way, if I do get to L3, I'm going to trigger it and hopefully get a nice crit bleed. So right there, he doesn't trigger the power gain. I'm like, sweet. It's on. We're getting to L3 this time, and we're gonna light up this Thor Ragnarok. So we're almost to special 3. There, we hit the mercies. We get unlucky on Thor. We get to 20 combo. He triggers his power gain. We throw the L3. Unlucky was still active. We weren't lucky, but it was stunned. And then check out that bleed. 6k. 66k. 6,600. Not bad. And it almost kills him. Then we get into assassins, and we just start getting a bunch of stuns, and we're gonna finish him off right here with a special one. Boom, got the bleed on there, and it's down. So that fight went pretty well, but the bleeds, at least you saw the L2 bleed. It did bypass the Mercy passive stuff. We had a big, huge bleed on there. So I think any dot damage can bypass it. Now here we got Invisible Woman. We need to make sure we get some heavies in, just as insurance to, in case we slip up, we miss an intercept, we miss a block or a parry, and we just want to protect that combo. We don't want to lose that, because that's just going to be devastating. My Guillotine 2099 is awakened, so I do also have the chance at her activating the combo shield on a big hit, but it's just not guaranteed. And my SIG it's around, I think it's around 70, 80 something. So boom, we knock off the shield. Now we need to hit into her block to deactivate it. It's on cooldown. Okay, so now we can just go ham. And look at the damage after the Mercy passive stuffs go. So it's gone, but we're still getting 2k plus every hit, and it keeps ramping up. And then the shield comes back, so the damage is minimized. But there, the shield's gone again. So now the damage is right back to where it was, and you're getting 2,000, 3,000 per hit on that L2. So the damage is really nice. So we want to basically just keep this up, get to L3, finish it so that we can carry it over, and be a little bit, you always got to kind of balance out how much damage you're going to do with how much health and power, how much health they have with how much power you have. So there I got tagged by the special 2. Combo shield saved my bacon. And we're just gonna get to L3. We weren't gonna throw another L2 because we wouldn't be able to get back. I always want to be more conservative with the specials when I know that I'm gonna be killing off that defender soon. So we're gonna deactivate the shield. We gotta put it on cooldown with a whiff or a blocked hit, and then here we go. So we just want to get to 5% or less, get the guaranteed kill. There it is. Finish her off. So 96 hits for that one. So not too bad. And the amount of hits is significantly higher simply because of Invisible Woman's shield. It takes a lot of the beating for her. And then next up, we're gonna move on to Squirrel Girl. And I believe I still use Guillotine for this one. Or do I use Domino? And all the nodes on these fights are all the same. Mercy, the Mutagenic, Acceleration, and Bubble Shield. So I'm like looking at this. So I'm gonna use, for that bishop, I'm gonna use Magik. We go in. Do we use Domino? Maybe. I don't remember. Thinking about it. And I'm just like, nah, it's gonna be quicker with Guillotine. So Squirrel Girl, she can put some bleeds on you if you don't get off the parry and she just hits into your block. She can get some bleeds, but obviously Guillotine 2099 is bleed immune. And yeah, this girl's gonna melt. Now again, it's got bubble shield, so you can see I'm blocking and stuff, but when I'm paying close attention to the bubble shield. And that's pretty much the only thing that I'm really paying attention to. The green mercies I don't really care about. So there we got 7. And I think when I was doing this fight, I was counting out the blocks out loud. I'd be like 7, and then we're trying to bait this special 1, dex it, and counter it, 8, and then once I get to 10, I just do a little dance until I can get them to attack me and get rid of that unblockable, because it's only the first hit. Only the first hit on the 10th iteration of those blocks are the unblockable ones. So just got to keep that in your mind. So here's 9, and then I think I'm going to get 10 here, 10. I'm like, okay, next hit's unblockable. Let him dash in, get the dex. You can see it shows unblockable text, but there's nothing else to indicate that it's going to be unblockable. So you have to be on the ball with that bubble shield counter. And we're going to try to get back to L2, and it's like this doesn't look great, because I'm like, this chick's almost dead, and then I put a couple degens on her and they're ticking pretty hard. So I'm like, so here I'm just building up power to get to L3, which is fine. So I got 16, 17, 18, and then we just go for the full combo, get to 5% or less, another perfect damaged L3, which doesn't really matter because it's going to kill her no matter what, and we finish guillotine off. Not guillotine, Squirrel Girl. So, the fights take about, when she's charged up, 80 to 90 hits, but it's not too bad. So for this one, I took a different strategy. I don't like fighting Bishop. The energy damage stuff that he does on his L1, it's not fun. If you slip up on the L2, you can just get decimated in one shot, and you only have basically one evade to make, but it's gotta be on point. So for this one, if you know Bishop, as he takes energy damage, he builds up his charges. They're like little electric lightning bolt, the purple ones. This pink one is the energy damage from his L1. You don't want to take blocks because you're going to take a bunch of extra damage. So I'm just trying to play passive. I'm trying to work off that energy damage ability that he can have. And we're going to do it one more time. And I got to be careful because I know you can fully dex the L1. I don't have the timing on that. I haven't really ever tried to practice it much, but you don't want his L1 to be unblockable, any of those parts be unblockable. So there you can see we got to 10, and then we just danced around till we triggered that unblockable, and now we're going to go to town. So we do need to be aggressive. We can't do a lot of parrying to get our openings. We want to do some stand-up intercepts in the corner, and we want to lock this guy down as much as possible. You see I missed the stand-up intercept, but he went straight into his heavy. We're doing draft back intercepts, and we just want to keep locking this guy down and getting to limbo. Limbo is what is triggering those purple lightning bolt prowess charges to build up, and I think I get him right to 30, and I'm like, okay, that should be it. But it's 30, or it's more than 30, so you have to have 31. So I'm dancing around thinking that he's going to start just like degenning away, and he's not. And so I'm like, okay, well, I definitely want to get back to a special 2 before he does, because I want to make sure that he doesn't throw a big nasty special with all those prowess, because if you miss or whatever, it's going to hurt a lot. So what do? We get back to special 2, we lock him down, and now you can see he's taking 4K per hit. We get back to L2, we're building up more of those charges. Now he's got 40, and it's going for 12K per tick. The mercy passes. Throw him out the window. Don't need him. Magik takes down Bishop. So as long as you can play aggressive and get him locked down, and once he's locked down, build up those energy charges through Magik's limbo. And yeah, she just melts him. So last up, we have Human Torch. And I believe I take in, for this one, Warlock. And I think I end up actually messing up and dying, I think. Or do I take Guillotine? I'm trying to think. No, I think I just take Guillotine. And Guillotine's energy damage does not trigger smolders, build the temperature. But if you throw an L1, the L1 is an energy damage one where it will build Human Torch's smolders, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that he's at 0, because if he starts building smolders, you can start taking incinerates. And yeah, we go with Guillotine, and I believe we just get the solo. The damage is nice. Now on this, you don't want to block any L1s, because at least the last part of the L1, because it's going to build up smolders. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to this one. We just need to make sure we do not lose our combo. Do our quadruple dex to not take any hits from that special one, and we're just going to keep baiting the special ones. And I believe we're going to throw an L2. The later you throw your specials, the better, just because you have more combo, which means more damage on those energy attacks, on the secondary damage. So yeah, do another quadruple dex on his special. I pretty much got that one down. It's not too terrible. There we got our 10th bubble shield one. You saw that he went unblockable. Again, keep that in mind. You don't want to get tagged by this guy. You don't want to get a bunch of incinerates on you, especially if you get towards, where you would start healing. You definitely don't want incinerates on, because he'll reverse that. Or if you use any champ that can heal, it can really mess you up. And yeah, we're just playing very conservative, trying to get parry blocks in. The bubble shield is just there to get that unblockable hit. There's nothing else tied to it. You don't take, it's not like it's breaking down your armor or anything like that. So there I do get tagged on the end of the L1, which is better than blocking it. Blocking it would have given him a smolder. Obviously you don't want to take any hits, but just keep that in mind. You would rather get hit by the last hit of his L1 over blocking it, because you don't want to block it to build up his smolders, because then just on regular hits for the rest of the fight, you have a chance of triggering incinerates on you when you attack him. So we're almost to that 5% benchmark. And then we're going to light off the L3, and Torch will go down. So right here, I was like, ooh, I did that a little bit early. It's at 6%. I'm like, please kill this guy. We didn't have Mercy passive or anything up, and you can see it didn't. I'm like, oh, what a waste. Not that I was going to use Guillotine. This is the last fight on the path. But that just shows why you pretty much always want to make sure you're in that 5% range. Because if you're not, depending on the node, or maybe the champion has some ability or whatever, or maybe you're just a little bit too much for what your special 3 damage can do, and you don't carry the combo. So we don't carry it on her, and we're gonna move up to the boss. And for this boss, which one do we do? I think we go into the ManThing, I believe. Yeah, we're going to do ManThing. And so the first path that I did on this map, I brought in my rank 5 max sig 5-star thing to take on ManThing. ManThing is like, or Thing is my counter for ManThing in Alliance War quite often. And so like I know we can do that fight. And when I did it, I recorded that whole path and I ran out of storage and I didn't realize it. So it only got like the last 4 minutes of the path, which was like the last, I don't know, 40, 50 hits of the ManThing boss. So I'm like, well, I know the 5-star thing can do it. Let's try the 6-star thing. So we reset, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, should I do the 5-star? Should I do the 5-star? Who should I swap out? So we got Warlock and Guillotine, which are poison immune, so they are options. And then I'm like, nah, yep, we'll just do that swap. Magik for Thing, and we're just gonna smash this. So this one has flare, I believe, but the flare is tied to class advantage, disadvantage, power shield, flare, power reversal, and then it's got high energy diet. So if you're doing energy damage like Guillotine, then he basically heals all that back up and then gains power. So you don't want that. This is a hit that does energy damage. So I don't know. And maybe it's just the incinerates and the shocks and whatever that's tied to that, but I'm not sure if the Guillotine 2099 will trigger that or not. Maybe I'll have to try that out because I need to redo that path since I don't have the recording of the whole thing. But we're going to go in. We're just going to trigger protection right at the start. Now, my sig level on this thing is only like 26, 27. So I'm not going to mitigate all of the damage, but the flare damage is already minimized by the class advantage that I have. And then I'm just going to minimize it even more. So whenever I have the opportunity to trigger protection, I'm going to minimize that damage, and then it goes on cooldown. So once the cooldown is complete, I'm going to trigger another heavy, and we're just going to smash this dude out. And the one thing that I saw was interesting was whether I crit or not on my special 2s, the damage, it was like the same, which I thought was really, really weird, really interesting. So I'm still building up Furies. So I'm at 30 Furies. So can't really compare the damage right now because it's going to keep ramping up until I get to 60. But yeah, the damage I think is I get like 20 and like 66k hits, which isn't terrible. There was like 20 and 63. We're at 47 Furies. And you might ask, like, why are you using Thing? He's not poison immune, and ManThing was going to put poisons on you. Well, ManThing's poisons are only triggered when he nullifies. When he nullifies a buff or those pustules that he puts on you. And Thing cannot be nullified. Therefore, when he is fighting ManThing, he is basically poison immune when it comes to anything that ManThing can dish out. So he's great. He's great to use as a counter for ManThing. And yeah, so now we're at 60 Furies, max damage. We're just trying to bait this dude out. I think we do end up getting kind of backed up into the corner. He's not throwing. There we go. We didn't get all the way back there, but we're, it's got power shield, but we're at half health, getting in courage range, and then we're going to start throwing some big special 2s and doing some big boy damage. Now, it would be interesting and fun to put Thing in with, so that was like 28k and 66k, no crits on that one, with like a full synergy team where he's got the champion and stuff like that, and trigger those extra Furies. But it doesn't need it. It would make the fight quicker if you can survive the flare and take those hits. But yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest for this, but he's super easy, super reliable. So I mean, if you're going for a Legends run, unless you're putting on like big boosts and power back boosts, then I could see, you know, it working fairly well, so long as ManThing is, he ends up throwing his specials, because you won't be able to like perma stun him. The stuns only happen when you have 20 rock stacks. But yeah, we're basically doing 28 and 60. We're almost doing 90, pushing 90k per special. So you can see like that first one crit for 26k. The last one didn't crit. It was like 66.7. And I think you're going to see some other special 2s that basically are the same thing, but some of them crit, some of them don't, but the numbers are always the same. So I don't understand how or why that is working like that. You'd think if it crit, you're going to get bigger numbers, but for whatever reason, it's not. I don't know if that's a bug or what. So here we got 28k non-crit, 66.7 again. But again, that the one before that, it crit for 28k on that first hit. That one didn't crit, and it was 28k. And I think this next one, the second hit on the special, will crit, but it's going to be the 66.7. So, but 66.7 plus the 28, what is that? 85? Oh no, 95. 95,000. So yeah, the damage is pretty decent. I mean, obviously there's other champs that can probably put out some big boy numbers, but yeah, non-boosted, putting out pretty much almost 100k per special. And I think we go for one more special 2 here, and I think it leaves him with like 1 or 2% or something like that. So let's see. We hit, boom, 29k and then 66k. So it's a little bit more this time, because now I'm in Assassin's range, and then we finish him off 1%, get him with the L1. But yeah, so Thing's a beast. I love playing him. He's my kind of style, just smash, and yeah. But that's it for the path. Hopefully this gives you a couple tips and ideas of who you can use for your path on this. And thanks for watching, fellas. Appreciate it as always. And yeah, have a great one, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out.